They say your first class at Hogwarts sets the tone for your entire education. I'm not sure if that's true, but I do remember mine. Potions. The dungeon room was colder than expected, the air thick with damp stone, and something else, something bittersweet, like crushed lavender and burnt sugar. Rows of ancient wooden tables gleamed under candlelight, each one etched with names and carvings of those long gone, proof that we weren't the first to feel frightened here. Slughorn swept into the room with the kind of authority that didn't need shouting. His robes were a bit too rich for a dungeon, and his moustache twitched when he smiled, which was often. His booming voice filled every crevice of the space, yet he had a way of making the air feel warm, like we were all old friends gathering for tea, instead of learning about the properties of aconite. He introduced himself with a laugh, made a terrible pun about boomslang skin, and somehow knew half of our names already. That included hers. She was sitting 3 seats down from me, auburn hair tucked behind her ear, quill perfectly aligned beside her parchment. She raised her hand when asked about the properties of bezoar, and her answer was so calm, so sure, I almost forgot to breathe. She didn't see me that day. But I saw her, not because she was beautiful, though she was, but because something about her felt good, in the truest sense of the word. It wasn't just cleverness or poise, it was a kind of light. A few weeks later, Slughorn paired us for a month-long brewing project. Not her and me, no, I wasn't that lucky. I was partnered with a Hufflepuff boy named Audric, who was nice enough, but had a habit of tapping his ink bottle when nervous. We were tasked with crafting a stability draft. Difficult for first years. I was thrilled, of course. Potions was already my favorite subject. But halfway through week 2, our brew wouldn't settle. It would shimmer violet, then fizz out into useless froth. I was frustrated, angry even. Audric had knocked over the wormwood vial again, and I had snapped at him more harshly than I should have. That's when Slughorn appeared beside me. He didn't scold me. He didn't even look disappointed. Instead, he crouched down beside our bench and said, "You've got a good mind." I blinked at him. "Sometimes," he said, tapping the side of my cauldron gently, "the quiet ones are the ones the Maker takes the most care with." The Maker. I hadn't heard that in a long time. It pulled something loose inside me, something warm and sad. He went on, his voice lower now. "My mother used to say that when we were children. She believed we weren't here by accident, that we were shaped on purpose, and that the ones who feel too much are often the ones meant to do something important." I didn't reply, but I remembered. I remembered the little stone church in Spinner's End, the cracked bell tower, the scent of wax and worn hymnals. My father sitting in the last pew, still and quiet, his calloused hands folded, as though they were shielding something invisible. He never spoke much about faith, but I knew he had it, and when he brought me with him, I sat beside him in the silence, and listened for something I couldn't name. It was the only time I saw him at peace, and Slughorn somehow reminded me of him. After that day, Slughorn spent more time with me, not in a pushy way, but with little nods and quiet corrections that built my confidence. He even gave me a rare copy of Arcane Mixtures of the Northern Marshes and told me not to tell the others. And for the first time at Hogwarts, I didn't feel like I was just surviving. I felt seen. The project turned out perfect in the end. Slughorn held up our potion in class and declared it the most stable brew he'd seen from a first year in over a decade. I tried not to smile, but, well, I failed. After class, I lingered by the shelves, pretending to read the labels on jars filled with spider legs and powdered claw. I didn't want to leave just yet. That's when I heard her voice behind me. She was talking to me. Is it true you figured out the flux ratio yourself? And just like that, everything changed. There are moments that divide a life before and after. That was one of mine. But if you think that was the end of it, you'd be wrong. So come back. I have so many detailed and intimate stories to tell you. My thoughts are still the same to this day. Always